Hello Fanatics, I'm Dylan Phillips and let's talk about Season 2 of Netflix's Friends from College. First we'll tell you our recap of the show, followed up by our review, and then we'll finish off with telling you if it's worth the watch. Created by Nicholas Stoller and Francesca Delbanco, Friends from College follows the story of 6 Harvard alumni who reconnect 20 years after college as their interwoven and complicated relationships with one another cause problems with their now separate adult lives. So, recap time. The main story of Season 2 revolves around these dysfunctional friends from college reeling with the fallout of Sam's 40th birthday. The group is forced back together after a year apart for the wedding of Max and his partner Felix, and have to deal with their unresolved feelings. Ethan and Lisa are getting divorced while Sam is going to couples therapy with her husband John. Meanwhile, Nick is trying to change his ways and dates the more age-appropriate Meryl Morgan, while Marianne is still confused as to why this group has distanced themselves over the past year. Things become more complicated when Lisa brings her new boyfriend Charlie to the wedding festivities, causing further tension within the group. I really wanted to like Friends from College. I mean, the cast alone is a reason to watch the show, but it just couldn't really ever find the proper tone. The characters were always dealing with very serious topics in their life, but the story always felt like it was riding this gray line between serious and funny, and it never really hit the tone that it needed for the stories it was representing. This season instantly reminds us about the fallout of last season and all the adultery that happened thanks to a recap from Billy Eichner's Felix. And they promised that this season would tone down on that aspect of the show, which was seen as the worst part of it in Season 1. Unsurprisingly, they're unable to avoid these affairs and toxic relationships in Season 2, which begs the question as to why these people even bother meeting up, considering their lives are destroyed every time they see these people again. However, the storylines are a bit more well thought out this season as the characters are dealing with loss and midlife crises. This gives the actors a lot more to work with in this season, rather than being the archetypical characters of last season thrown into overdone and ridiculous situations. Gone are the days of fun Ethan, pushover Max, and playboy Nick, as these characters learn that they have to grow up at some point, but don't necessarily know how to. Of the cast, the most compelling is definitely Cobie Smulders' Lisa, who goes through multiple crises throughout the entire season, and Cobie is able to deliver a fantastic and heart-wrenching performance. Regardless, these characters are still terrible people, so it's really hard to truly invest in their well-being. Thankfully, the show is shot beautifully as Nicholas Stoller is able to create an aesthetically pleasing landscape. But unfortunately, outside of that, the positives are pretty much non-existent, as the tone of this story is absolutely everywhere. At times, it feels like it wants to use subtle highbrow humor, but then instantly takes a right turn and just goes into gag jokes and vulgarity. The moment it starts to become emotional and sentimental, it hits us with a curveball and completely destroys any of the tension that it had been building. These abrupt changes cause it to become difficult to invest in these characters' lives, which for a streaming service show is the opposite of what bingeable should be. So, with the thoughts heard, here's our final word. This season of Friends from College is marginally better than its mediocre freshman year, but not by much. The shift in focus from affairs to midlife crises gives the actors more to work with in creating characters beyond their unlikable archetypes, but this is a deep hole to dig out of. The stories try to feel relatable and empathetic, but the tonal issues throughout the season send a confusing message on whether or not you're supposed to laugh at or feel bad for these characters, making it hard to care about their situations. From its average characters to its even more average story, this season tries to fix the problems with Season 1, but ends up continuing to be a bland dramedy that seems just as lost as its characters. So I'm gonna say, it's not worth the watch. And that's our recap and review of Season 2 of Friends from College. If you've seen it, what did you think? And was it worth the watch? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Dylan Phillips, and thanks for watching. If you liked this video and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Check out our latest Worth the Watch video, where we recap and review Season 5 of Grace and Frankie. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. And until next time, Fanatics, keep it real.